Everybody, today I am well south of Indianapolis, actually, in what's really one of my favorite parts of the entire state of Indiana. And it's a place that I used to come to quite often. Don't so much anymore because life's gotten completely crazy with young kids and job and so many things going on, but I do like to occasionally escape to this particular part. I am in Brown County, Indiana, just a little bit to the west of Columbus, Indiana, and really close to Nashville, Indiana. So this really gem of a place in Indiana is something that everybody in the state, especially if you live in the Indy Metro, you should take advantage of. So we're gonna explore this just a little bit today, although there's a lot to get to, but we're gonna get into just some of the details here in this video, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton with the Compton Home Group. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Indianapolis or any of the surrounding areas, including places like this, like Brown County, Indiana, which is definitely to the south of it, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also tap the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. Now we have people reaching out to us from all over the country with questions about Indianapolis, of course, and all the surrounding cities and towns, and what it's like to live there, what might be the best fit for them, just what is it going to be like for their family, and are there places like this around Indianapolis? Because it's pretty surprising to a lot of people that there are. So if you have questions about any of those things at all, then don't hesitate to reach out any ways you know how. We'll always have your back with those questions, and we'll certainly have you back when it comes time for you to make your move to the Indy Metro. All right, so again, I'm in Brown County, Indiana. And when you're talking about counties, this is a county that it's not one of the donut counties around Indianapolis. We call them the donut counties because Marion County is typically what we would call Indianapolis. At least most of Indianapolis is right there. And then you have other counties surrounding it. But Brown County is to the south, no question about it. And where I live, out on the east side of Indianapolis in Greenfield, Brown County is not exactly like I can just jump in the car and be here instantly, but from my place, it takes roughly an hour and 15 minutes to get right here to the parking lot, at least one of the parking lots in Brown County State Park. And that's actually pretty awesome because you can pop down here for the day and do any number of things that Brown County has to offer in Brown County State Park. And by the way, this isn't the only park in the area. There are others. So you've got a number of choices, but Brown County State Park tends to be the one that sort of overshadows the rest, even though it really shouldn't necessarily, because the other parks have a lot to offer as well. And the landscape, geography, all of that is really, really similar. So you can see right now, I've got a jacket on. This video is being filmed in the fall, and the leaves here are tremendous. They're unbelievable. Brown County State Park is a great place to visit. If you live around Indianapolis or even to the south of Brown County, you can get down toward the Ohio River in southern Indiana and still make this a destination. And it is a very popular destination in the fall. This park can get pretty crowded because it's tremendously beautiful. But you can come here any other time of year. And I used to come here, like I said at the beginning of the video, really a lot in my younger days. So I used to do a lot of mountain biking, and a lot of people will think about Indiana and just that it's all farmland, it's all completely flat, and there aren't a lot of trees. But I've found that, and I've lived in Indiana all my life, so I'm used to what Indiana looks like. And I've been across the country, I've been across the world, I know what other places look like too, of course. And I've always thought Indiana was actually really quite pretty. But when people live in another location and then they come here for a decent period of time just to try to get to know what the Indianapolis area is like and what Indiana is like in general, for the most part, people are a little bit surprised. They are a little surprised at how lush it is, at how green it is. Maybe not in the winter, because it's not green in the winter. It's pretty brown in the winter. But during the spring, summer, and even in the fall, especially the grass in the fall, it's very, very green, and the leaves aren't green anymore. And in here, it's mostly yellow and orange and brown, but you get all kinds of pops of colors here and there with different types of trees. They're shocked by that. They think that for the most part, when you go to rural Indiana, you're gonna find just mostly farmland. And you can, without a doubt, find a lot of farmland in Indiana. There's a ton of it. I mean, it's the Midwest. This is big farming country, big part of it. So you're gonna find that. But outside of that, Indiana used to be completely covered in forest. There's a saying that you could have a squirrel and it could go all the way across the state from Illinois to Ohio and never touch the ground. So that's from tree to tree to tree. So there's still a tremendous amount of forest in Indiana. And when you get into Indianapolis, you can find a lot of older areas with some very mature trees. And then of course, when you get outside of Indianapolis, you'll find some farms here and there, of course. But you can find places like this. And actually, when you get to the southern part of the state, you can't really see it on this video, but I've been trekking uphill here, and so I've had to stop just for a second because I don't want to sound like I'm completely out of breath on this video and just kind of be ridiculous. So it's hilly in the south. Now, people watching this in the mountains of California or Colorado or any mountainous place out west, or even if you get into the Appalachians and the Smokies, places like that, yeah, of course that's hill here. Those are mountains. We don't have mountains in Indiana, but we do have hills. We absolutely do. So if you like to hike, well, you can find places around Indianapolis to do that. And if you just want flat trails, there are plenty of those. If you want flat dirt trails, something like that, there are certainly plenty of those too. Lots of parks have trails, lots of areas have trails. You can get out and do that. But if you want some hills, if you want some true hiking, if you want some camping, you want horseback riding, you want all of those outdoor things, and you want them to be a little bit more, let's say, bigger, more grand. It's not quite going to Rocky Mountain National Park, but boy, if you live in Indianapolis and a place like this is, for the most part, anywhere around the Indy Metro, easily under 2 hours. In fact, for most places, even if you live on the north side, we're talking hour and a half drive or so. This place is a pretty fantastic option. You can get into some very strenuous hiking through here. And then, like I said, when I came down here years ago I did a lot of mountain biking. And I used to ride bikes a ton. So a lot of road biking, a lot of mountain biking. Kind of started in cycling with mountain biking and traveled the country actually mountain biking. Been out west, been out east, and been to some pretty awesome locations. But honestly, the southern part of Indiana and the mountain biking that I've done here has been pretty darn good. It's been pretty close to what I've seen in some other parts of the country. And it's just a whole lot closer. At least the bang for your buck here as far as time commitment and overall cost of traveling some other place for a place like this is pretty sweet. And so you pay a little daily fee, and like today, I got into Brown County State Park. It's $7 for the car, and you can be here all day. So if you have multiple people in the car, it's fantastic. If it's just one person in the car, well, you know, obviously it's a little bit more expensive per person, but overall, that is pretty darn cheap. And so you can come here in the morning, spend a couple hours here, and then head back, and I haven't shot the entire day. But again, this place is very popular in the fall. I mean, incredibly popular. So if you come into the forest and you're hiking, you'll definitely see some other people. You'll see some mountain bikers. But what gets really crowded in the fall is Nashville, Indiana. Now, Nashville is a very small town here in Brown County, but the reason it's so popular is because it is the quintessential town that matches an environment like this. Old antique shops, little tiny restaurants, and just kind of that. Basically, if you're an antique person, if you go antiquing, if you like handmade things, if you like unique gift ideas, Nashville, just going up and down the street there, it is just packed with all of those things. But of course, it's also packed with a lot of people. And that's pretty cool for the most part, because you get into the vibe, you get into that energy. But if you were to go into Nashville any other time of year, it's still going to have some people there. It's just going to be a little less crowded, and it's one of those things that is a little bit easier to get around. So summertime is a great time to go into Nashville. Springtime is a great time to go to Nashville. Even the winter, where it can be, of course, pretty cold. Weather might not be so great, but it's still a pretty cool time to walk up and down the street there and see everything that it has to offer, because it does have a lot to offer. It is a pretty entertaining little spot to go to. Just in the fall, very, very popular. But that's what everybody's coming here to see in the fall, is that if you're in Indianapolis, and because of all of the trees that you're going to surprisingly find in a lot of places, it is actually beautiful in the fall. And the weather, the feel is just unlike anything else. If you don't live in a place with 4 seasons, people that generally are from the Midwest love the 4 seasons. So most are so worried about the winter and what it's going to be like. In the Midwest, I mean, it's cold. So If you don't like the cold, it's not going to be cold for 7-8 months or anything like that, but there's a good solid 4 months of winter here where, yeah, it's going to be cold. And of course, me, like a lot of Midwesterners, by the time the winter ends or gets close to ending, we're ready for it to be over with and to get into spring. But then it gives you just a crazy high level of appreciation for the weather that you get in the spring. That first 70-degree sunny day is just like anything else. It's unlike anything else. It's an incredible thing to experience. It even smells different. It just has a totally different vibe. If it were that way every single day of the year, I know that I would get tired of that. Just like I really get tired of the summer when it's warm all the time. I kind of want some cool weather, just like this with the fall. But then it gets cold, and that's also pretty nice. It slows things down, but I get sick of that and want to get back to the nicer weather as well. But this place here is popular because of the colors and all that, but it's also that weather change. Humidity is gone. Not that we have a ton of humidity like you do in the South, like in Florida, any place like that, but it is humid here in the summer, but the humidity's gone in the fall. It's a lot easier and more comfortable to walk around in a state park like this and enjoy it without just sweating constantly or worrying about bugs all the time. It's just easier on everybody, and so hugely popular place to go. So if you live on the south side of Indianapolis, like in Greenwood, well, this place is about an hour away, and that's actually one of the advantages of living in a place like Greenwood. And one of the reasons I like Greenwood so much is that you're so close to Indianapolis, but then you're also so close to southern Indiana and all of what it really has to offer. So Brown County State Park, Nashville, Indiana, living in those places, you absolutely can, but of course it's going to be a different type of lifestyle. It's going to be a very rural type of lifestyle. And if you want to be in an environment like this all the time, then those could be really good options for you. But you will be pretty far away from the city. You're not far from amenities like a grocery store, or even if you needed some fast food or something like that, you can just go straight to the east on 46 and you'll get into that particular type of stuff, and you can get over into Columbus, Indiana very, very fast here, which is a city and has everything that you're possibly going to need as far as that goes. But it's a unique place. It definitely is, and it's one of the places I think that surprises people whenever they look at the Indy Metro. So if you have questions at all about Brown County or anything that it has to offer, or even southern Indiana, south of the Indy Metro, then make sure you reach out any way you know how. And until the next one, we'll see you later.